Good evening. This light in ourselves and the operation of thought. This is what we want to apply our mind to this evening, and this is a very serious topic. This topic exposes the longest, most long-standing racket in this world in which all of us are caught. The greatest tragedy of humanity is that they are caught in the operation of thought, and they do not know what they are doing. Thought, which is response of memory, makes the laws, especially laws of morality. This is right, that is wrong. He is right, she is wrong, and so on, are determined by the operation of thought. And we trust thought immensely when we do not value the thought of a certain school of philosophy. We opt for another philosophy which seems to us to be higher, better thought out philosophy. But we are trying to look at this light in oneself, which is not thought at all. Thought has limitations, but we do not see. Even if we see or have glimpses of the limitations of thought, on one hand, we are helpless, we don't know what else can be other than thought, which can guide us in life. On the other, perhaps more seriously, more often than not, we are charmed by certain beauty that seems to be in thought. Thought itself expresses as language. Thought itself is the word. Thought itself becomes numerous symbols. And we are carried away by symbols, by words, by varieties of visualizations. Even the sentence, thought is limited, appeals to us. Ah, I think so. What a beautiful thought it is to think that thought is limited. But can any one of us dare go above thought or go beyond thought? It's like in tradition, they talk about Maya, And I tell you, 99 out of 100 people who study Maya finally end up writing a poem on Maya or giving discourses on Maya, but they do not step aside from Maya. By writing a poem on Maya, do you think you can get out of Maya? By talking cleverly on the limits of thought, can you be out of thought, beyond thought, above thought? Thought ensnares us. Alas, thought is Maya. The operation of thought is a trap into which we fall again and again. Krishnaji ruthlessly comes down upon not only people on the right, as the word goes, the right, he comes down upon people on the side of the so called left. The right, everywhere, in every country, in every field, are somewhat conventional. They uphold tradition. They cite examples of great people in the hoary tradition of their religion or community or their territory. They wish to protect the old. Alas, that becomes a terrible vested interest. The left first appears to be seeking truth and truth alone. The left, therefore, without any hesitation, tries to dismantle whatever is traditional, whatever is a vested interest at first sight. But alas, the left becomes another vested interest. Their interest lies in dismantling the well known vested interest. And these people take great delight, great pleasure. One side delights in building a temple of bricks and mortar, brings an idol, and wants to say, here is all grace coming from. Another side takes delight in breaking that temple, breaking the idol. Alas, if they really were free from that conditioning, if they were really free from the conditioning that the sacred can be enclosed in a temple, in an idol, in a symbol, in a word, if they really are free from it, that's wonderful. But are they free? I am afraid the vast majority of the so called leftists rejoice in reacting against anything that has been put in place through time. That amounts to the reaction being pretty much the same as the conditioned action. For the action had one conditioning, the reaction has another conditioning. Friends, the mighty challenge before us, therefore, is to very carefully notice the limitation of thought, whether it safeguards something old and much revered, much accepted by the society, or it is one that is excited, is going strong about tearing apart the old. This light in oneself is free from either prejudice. And to be free from either of the prejudices, I mean prejudice for the old and prejudice against the old. There are systems in our society, the caste system, or in some Western countries, the system that gave special rights to people of a certain color of skin and denied rights to people of certain other color of skin. Around the world, out in the society, we find not one or two, but hundreds of prejudices in operation. And these prejudices are of thought. This light in oneself is not a construction of thought. It is the truest of love. It is love. Everything else is not love. In this light in oneself, there is true morality. However, it is hard for anyone to truly appreciate this light and to stay as the light. One slips, one falls, one trips and gets into the trap of thought again and again. But what under the sun is this light? Obviously, it is not the light of physics. The light that human eyes can perceive, says physics, are certain frequencies in the very wide and vast spectrum of electromagnetic waves. The frequencies from red going higher and higher to violet. Those 7 frequencies are visible light. Above violet, there is a frequency called ultraviolet. Human eyes cannot see it at all. Some instruments can see. Therefore, there are ultraviolet cameras, I guess ultraviolet photography. Ultraviolet has many applications. Instruments generate it, and instruments perceive or sense it, measure it. But the human eyes stop at violet. And at the bottom of the spectrum, the human eyes stop at red. Below the red, there is an electromagnetic wave which is infrared. And there are many more further down and many more above ultraviolet. So infrared we cannot see. But there are many medical and other applications for infrared too. I guess there is an infrared heater. When you have back pain, you expose yourself to that infrared heat. Normally, accompanying that infrared heater, there is some regular red, which we see. But otherwise, infrared itself is totally invisible. So, this light in oneself, is it some light that can be perceived by human eyes or that cannot be perceived by human eyes? Sorry, it is not any electromagnetic energy at all. The word light is symbolic, is representative, is figurative. Generally, to see an object in a room which was in dark for a while, you bring a lamp or a candle or something. Once there is light, you are able to see the object in the room. Likewise, the capacity deep within us to see is figuratively called light. These days, there are lots of literature emerging on the media, in audio, in video, in printed form. Conferences are held, dialogues are held, good speakers and many academicians talk on and on about consciousness. What is consciousness? Is that consciousness something that emerges from the brain? Is consciousness an epiphenomenon of the brain? Or can consciousness exist independent of the brain? The Hindus in the Vedanta and so on had proposed it. Yajnavalkya in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad makes certain extraordinary statements talking to King Janaka. He talks about pretty much this light in oneself. And for example, he says, this light never takes a break. This light does not have a lapse. This light is ever shining. As you know, the Vedanta delights in giving a certain permanence to the truth, with which our Krishnaji was very uncomfortable. The moment you visualize or conceptualize or you create something permanent, changeless, staying the way, same way always, he would shudder, he would express tremendous discomfort. Because for him to talk like that, to visualize like that, would be another unpardonable act of thought. He wants you to get out of thought. But you read Vedanta and bringing Sanskrit mantras, you bamboozle the audiences or the man in front of you and say, here is something, and you use all hyperbolic expressions. It is beyond thought, it is beyond time, it is beyond space, and it is beyond. There was one Swami, I don't know whether he still lives. There was one Swami some time back, a Westerner who came to the Himalayas and studied Vedanta and such stuff. I don't know how much he really understood it. Many Westerners don't understand much, but they go back with enough material to go around and do some so-called spiritual work. God bless them. But this Swami went back and became a very popular Swami, and he took the name. He took an unusual name, Swami Beyond Ananda. Yeah, I used to read his short quotes at some in some magazines. and he pretty much wrote very well with wit and wisdom. His name was Swami Beyondananda. He, I think, not only read Vedanta, he read Zen and he read Sufi mysticism. He read many such stuff. And then he, with a gift of gab, with a certain command on the English language, and with a friendly personality, with some, in those days, when WhatsApp or what is that? There are so many media these days, Facebook, um, and all this were not there, yet he was reaching out so many people in ways that were possible those days. But I'm afraid, just as we Indians get caught in our own traps, these Westerners also, it seems to me, 99 out of 100 among them also get into some kind of propaganda. Then they go around, and we don't know whether they awaken anybody or they entertain people. God knows. Don't ask me who is God here coming in between. Once in Chennai, a young lady came and bowed before me because I am Swami. By habit, by my old mechanical ways, I said, God bless you. That girl's father was standing next. He was a Pakka Krishnamurtiite, so to say. Sorry if I have labeled anybody irresponsibly, but the father of the girl was so much deeply into J. Krishnamurti studies. I too am to a certain extent, but my old ways. I blessed the daughter, saying, God bless you. And the father objected. What God? Which God? Which God should bless my daughter? In Chennai, right in Vasanta Vihar, this happened. So excuse me for my baggage. But then, what is this light? Interestingly, I'm not trying to stand fully with Yajnavalkya, but Yajnavalkya in that very section, in that very chapter 4 and section 3 of Brahadaranyaka Upanishad, upon being asked by King Janaka, how are we to discover this Jyoti? The word used is Jyoti. The section is called Jyotir Brahmana. Brahmana over there means section. Section. That section, Jyotir Brahmana, as Yajnavalkya saying, you may know that light in yourself, that Jyoti, only by negation, negation. Neti, neti. Let me not go more into those traditional expressions, but interestingly, that is what it is. If by conceptualizing what this light in oneself is, we again get into another trap. Drop concepts, drop ideation. How do we drop? By seeing their limitations, seeing that they are another gold cage. A bird escaped from an iron cage, got into a copper cage. The bird escaped from that copper cage also and went into a silver cage. The bird escaped from that silver cage also and got into a gold cage or golden cage. A cage is a cage. Likewise, if we think about the light within oneself, we conceptualize. We want to write a book on it. Want to write a poem on it. We are eager to look for some audience who wait for us to go speak on this light. Then we are caught. Therefore, negate. And the only way to negate is seeing that this is another trap. My self is getting strengthened here. It is in dying to the self that I come upon freedom, not by beautifying the self, glorifying the self, not by strengthening the self. Let go of the self, ending of the self, and to sit down and say, I am the light of all lights. I am that light, the supreme light beyond, blah, blah, blah. To make it another ritual, to go to a beautiful lake near your town and to sit on a marvelous, pretty bench, pleasant weather, some swans are moving on this lake, and some birds are flying, and then you visualize, I am the light of lights. People are fond of it. People are fond of holding on to words, hanging on to words. Your love of nature we appreciate, but for heaven's sake, don't make nature and natural surroundings a partner in the process of getting caught in yet another operation of thought, visualization. In the name of meditation, do not escape from real life. Please see, there's nothing wrong in sitting by a lake, but we are trying to show how this conditioned mind, even in so called wonderful settings, tries to bind you in a certain imagination of who you are. And this light in oneself is when imagination ends. There is no imagination. Therefore, ruthlessly, when people ask Krishnaji, what is the way to attention? He said the way to attention is attention itself. Attention is the way to attention. What a terrific statement. He refused to give the so called stepping stones, to give the so called prop, to give some warm up exercises, to give some ways and means whereby eventually you will know who you are or what that light is. Oh, not once in a century, but I think once in a millennium, someone like him comes and speaks from the bottom of his heart. Somebody known to me in Mumbai many years ago. At that time, I had no idea of Krishnaji. I mean, I knew the name. uh, yeah, I knew the name. I had already attended one lecture also, which went above my head, but I had no grasp of what Krishnamurti was talking. I was a Vedanta teacher then already. But one of my elderly students, 20 years older to me, he once said in Bombay, I went to JJ School of Art in South Bombay and I didn't go in. On the road itself, I heard a voice. And believe me, he said to me, this person, 20 years older to me, still alive, lives in Pondicherry. He said, I heard a voice and I knew this is a voice of fearlessness. So without planning, I went inside to attend that talk that was going on, and that was J. Krishnamurti, he said. Interesting. I just heard it and looked into his eyes without understanding what it was all. It took some more years for me to appreciate the subtlety, of Krishnaji's teachings. Therefore, friends, there is not much that can be said about this light in oneself. To say anything about this light is difficult. To say what it is not also is not an easy task. Yet, there is certainly certain intelligence in you and me which remains untapped. This intelligence within us is not getting a chance. We are not letting this intelligence operate on thought. We continuously and again embrace thought. We are in our dreams, we are in our ambitious flights of fancy. We pretend to be great. Some other times we pretend to be humble. Sometimes we pretend to be not nobody, pretending. Really, we want to be somebody. But we pretend to be nobody. We all say, oh, I am nothing before all of you. I am just dust. We say all these borrowed statements. Alas, we do not see that in quiet, in silent awareness, a transformation can take place. Can we give an opportunity for that transformation to take place by being the light, being the witness, being that quiet attention, and not getting again and again carried away by one more attractive thought, one more tempting thought, one more provocative thought which gives a kick to us in yet another way. To hate somebody and indulge in negative emotions, or to get attached to somebody and indulge in thoughts of, oh, I love him and he loves me and we are, oh, these are all flights of thought. And in the process, intelligence remains unheard. Thank you.
Harshad sir. Harshad sir.
Yeah. Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Swamiji. This topic, the light within, I think it is a kind of a metaphor, like imagination comes to me that in a room, in a big room, there are many people, they are walking and there is a darkness in the room, and these people, they don't see each other and they are colliding with hitting each other. But when somebody comes and switch on the light, then all these people move in a very orderly way in the room and they don't collide with each other. So these people who are walking in the dark, they are like the thoughts. And when there is no light, no intelligence, no awareness, then these thoughts, they collide with each other and there are many conflicts within oneself. And then that conflict within oneself, it reflects in conflict with the people outside. So this light within is like awareness, which is not thought, but it can see the thoughts very clearly. And that is lacking in most human beings. And that is why there is so much suffering in the world because, as you, Swamiji said, we get carried away by thoughts and emotions because that faculty which is not thought, which is called intelligence or awareness or light or whatever we call it, when that is not awakened in human beings, life keeps on creating problems. The mind keeps on creating problems um, because it doesn't really see the source from where the problem arises. But when there is the awakening of this light within, or awareness, or intelligence, then one can see the beginning of a problem, whether it is a fear or anger or conflict. And when that is seen, the beginning, the problem goes away. So our problem is not that there are thoughts. We need thoughts to express ourselves, like giving a talk. Swamiji is giving talk. I am giving talk. Many people are giving talks. We need thought. We need to express these words, ideas. But the real thing is this light, which is awareness or intelligence, which can see clearly. And when we are able to see clearly our own thoughts and feelings, my understanding is that then we begin to see the objects outside also very clearly. And they look very bright and beautiful. And that is why some people, some poets, they have said, जिसने मन का दीप जलाया दुनिया को उसने ही उजला पाया. It means people in whom this light is awakened, they find the whole world very bright, beautiful, like flowers, birds, clouds, nature. Everything looks very new, fresh, beautiful. And there is another song, मन मंदिर की ज्योत जगा दो darshan do ghanshyamanath. That means in the temple of the mind, ignite the lamp, that light within. Because without that light, there is darkness and there is a lot of suffering. And so people who are devotional, they are asking, they are praying for this awakening of the light within. And even in Veda, say tamso ma jyotirgamay, that from darkness take me to light. So this light is the real purpose, real aim of our life if we are in the spiritual field. Without that light, no matter how much we gather knowledge, ideas, concepts, it is no meaning. It is just a burden. It becomes knowledge, becomes a burden. But with this light, knowledge can be used properly. And and even Kabir said, "तेरे पास हीरे मोती, मेरे मन मंदिर में ज्योति, कौन हुआ धनवान?" So Kabir had found that treasure which he called Man Mandir में ज्योति. So that treasure exists within all of us, but as long as we are searching for that treasure in outside things, even in philosophy of other human beings, it, it doesn't help. Only when we go within our own mind, when we have a curiosity, when we have passion, we have the energy, we have the honesty to look inside. And when and it is not so easy. Most people are escaping from their own mind because it is very frightening to look Even to sit alone, some people will say, maybe he's crazy, he's not doing anything. But not doing anything, it doesn't mean that you are living in dreams only, but looking curiously at your own mind. And in that, when we begin to understand our own mind, we can see clearly, we can understand other human beings also. If they have some problems, we can maybe shift something which can help them. But without this light within us, no matter what we advice we give, it may not work. And there's one more song, Jab Ujiara Man Mein Chhaye, Jab Ujiara Hoy. That when there's a light in the mind, the whole world is shining beautifully. So many poets have many religious, spiritual teachers who have given their life to look within themselves the treasure which is buried within us. And if they are able to touch that treasure, then we don't need any philosophy. We don't need any teachings. Teachings will come from within us in a very spontaneous, direct way. And that is what happened to Buddha, Gautam Buddha. Only after there was that light, enlightenment. Enlightenment means there is a light within. And it makes our life also very light, with not carrying burden. Light means not heavy. So only when such a thing happens, then we understand everything. Other human beings, whether it is Krishnamurti or Upanishad or Buddhism or other philosophy, we can see the essence behind the word. Otherwise, if we are attached to only one kind of philosophy, then we will not be able to understand other philosophy, which may be saying the same thing in a different words, different ideas. So I think maybe I will stop now. I will. I let other people. I think Pradeep ji is ready to speak, and thank you very much. Yeah, Pradeep ji, yes.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, friends, all of you. Swamiji started this saying that this topic is really very, very, it's not that easy. It is difficult. It is, um, and rightly so, because when I read about this topic, the light within and the operation of thought, for me it was simple at that the moment I read about this, immediately what comes to my mind was simple. Like to see clearly things as they are. This is what any clarity. Because to deny so many things that light is not this, light is not electromagnetic, light is not laser light is not physical at all. And he was talking about beyond and also beyond this and beyond that. And we have heard a lot about this because a different dimension we can use the expression. So we have been hearing these things, and it takes quite a time to negate virtually everything, including you, because everything is in the form of thought. So negating everything took quite some time. Then something like Sankaracharya said it long back. I am neither this nor that, and now that these things all conceivable thoughts in our mind, wherever we might have read or got impressed. So We start with what I took very simply. First is light to see. I don't deny it, because light to see or insight is also that sight, that also is related to seeing. Then second aspect can be light as energy. Now, I have to quote J.K. said, thought is material. That's why it can be stored, memorized, retrieved back. So material, and what relationship it has with energy, the total energy available to a man in any form, which he divides into this and that, and physical, psychological, and all that, philosophical, everything. He goes on doing it. So that energy is used up for all these things, and I think thinking takes maximum energy. Without movement, even that internal movement in us takes maximum energy. So light as energy, then metaphor, Chidanandji, not Apna, Harshad Bhai talked about it as a metaphor. So that again, a different class when we put it into class metaphor. So it doesn't solve any one of that anyone, but what for we are discussing all these things. Then it's not light, this light, that light, but if I say it's a light of understanding life, light to understand life peacefully. So, and then even light as laser, all that acronym, stimulated emission of radiation and all that. And a very narrow beam is used to see things, even for surgical order. Swamiji was talking about ultraviolet photography, infrared photography. I have done a little bit of that. So in infrared photography, you can see in the dark also, and in jungle, you can see how these wild animals behave in the night. So it has its role. Suppose I say whatever has been negated, that is not this thing. Suppose I say it is all of this. How is it different? It is all of this, because somewhere or the other, sometime or the other, this appealed to us with practical implications in human life, in our day-to-day life. So by negating or creating a blank in our in some sort of emptiness or desired emptiness in us, it is never empty. So what we are talking about, what I am listening, the words, all it is not out of the empty vessel, because that sounds bad. Empty vessel makes much noise. So then it's not empty in that sense, but the way operation of thought is energy, thought is matter, material energy regulated by energy. Whatever we are doing, we have been doing, or we plan to do is energy only. Now to define this, or rather to clarify about this energy, is not that, it's not that, it's not that. So we go on, there is no end to it. Swamiji had to use that last word 5 times today. Usually he doesn't use so often, in once or twice. So I can understand the pain, he must be feeling, and the complication while discussing this light within. Somebody said, "Apo Deepo Bhav." Sushil ji said, "It is not Apo Deep, it is Apo Dvipo Bhav." Be an island to yourself. And Apo Deepo Bhav, the way JK used Very simply, I took it that way, when you can see things as they are. If we go on dividing it into different parts and then negating each one, naturally, the moment part you make a part out of any whole, then it is not that, it is not that, and it is not that even. Go on doing it. But ultimately, in our day to day life, what this topic, how, where is that light in me? I know I need energy. I am deprived of energy. I will be energy will be depleted after some time, which will be recovered. And its dependence on this, that food and everything, peace of mind. So instead of uh, everything, uh, Ishavasya idam sarvam. So if I can understand that it's everything, it's all these things. So will it be easier? And life challenges become suffering only because of when I isolate myself as I want specifically this thing for me, isolating in any way that I am different, then suffering is bound to be there. The whole world will be against, in a way. That is what I have felt. So, energy we cannot deny that it's a relation. It is energy only. Initially, once Swamiji said it also. It is energy. So, what is ultimately what can be said, if at all, because as word and reaction, he was somebody was what reacts. Reaction is always bad. Reaction gives you a chance to know yourself. What irked me, or how did I react? So that will tell something about myself. Self, that something is there inside me which doesn't like this. So lot was talked about leftist and rightist. So like way negation, conditioning, ultimately it comes to that everybody is conditioned. And when we talk, it is because of conditionings only, because it comes out as a word. Word is memory, past, and all that. So where it leads to this topic, light to see, there is no problem. Light as energy, no problem. Jyotirgamay, naturally, darkness has importance so that you enjoy light. So that way, darkness is not really that dark as we conceive of. Ultimately, seeing, insight, clairvoyance, everything is related to seeing with our visual spectrum, limitation of visual spectrum, which he was talking with God. So ultimately, uh, for me, all these things have a place in my life, and energy we do need. And with aging, what happens to energy? Where goes that energy? Everything, and what relation it has with the thought. Thought takes a lot of energy. Thought gives also energy. It's not that all the thoughts take up energy. So this is what I have to say. In after listening to Harshad Bhai and Swamiji, these things came up to this thing, added to it. But for me, it was to see things as they are. Of now, who will certify this is the thing as it is? What you are seeing is things as it is. Who will certify? Myself. Self, intelligence, awareness, number of things. Awareness also has, when you are aware of all the senses, partly some senses dominated by certain senses. You are aware some touch something, or this thing. So this is a different type of seeing also. So sensing rather, seeing may not be the right word, but sensing. And sensing is important in life. We talk of sensibility, we talk of sensitivity, we talk of all these things are important for me, and they do work. And rest, you see social media all around you. Papers are full of what that you. That's all. I think this is all I have to say right now. Let me see if I get something after listening, something real question comes to my mind. Then I will let you. Thank you very much. Thank you, friends.
Dinesh ji.
Are you able
Dinesh ji,
to
please.
hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. As Swamiji said, today's topic is very serious. And he was also having very difficulty in talking, as Pradeep ji confirmed. And Harshad sir has also thrown some light on some of the aspects of light within. Anyway, my views are a little bit different. Basically, as we have to see that there are two things. One is iti iti and another is neti neti. So, as per my understanding, Krishnamurti talks about neti neti mainly. But when you talk of negation, one has to understand what JK means by the negation. He also starts with the other polarity, negating it, anything, and then actual negation means non-emergence of that particular desire or this thing, any demand or anything. So that is basically, then it can be called as negation. Means that is rooted out totally, that thing. Then only it can be said to be negated. So these things are basically required to clarify the further things. He also is not, he says that you have to work on yourself. So as per my view, in a way, JK is trying to point out that everybody ultimately has to find out their own way. So to say, to be a light to oneself is like a pointer. But this is a superficial statement. I would say it is a superficial statement. So first, also we have to understand when JK says something, there are so many conditions in it. If we say there is no way and there is no path and this thing, here he is trying to say that everybody will be going for his own path and he has to find out his own path. Then we can say that he is like to himself. So what JK says and what are his requirements, I would try to finish it very fast and then I would put my views. He says, is that possible to be so completely so free from the tradition that man has built, superstition, every form of influence, both external and inward? Now, to be a light or to oneself or to stand by oneself, the past with all its tradition must totally vanish. So, how tremendously important it is to be stand alone, which does not mean isolation or non-cooperation. To stand alone means to live a life without any pressure from outside or inside. No conformity to a institution and no authority. Meditation is the understanding of life which is to bring about order, and order is virtue, which is light, which is light, which is not to be led by another. So there should be no authority. Then the search for experience, which we all want, must come to an end. No image of other and self in relationship, no control of thought,
only thinking, self-knowing and choiceless awareness, observing the consciousness only. For this, there should not be any motive, etc., etc. Then there are siddhis. One should not be caught in it. Otherwise, you cannot go further. So indirectly, we see that na iti is another side of the coin, which also reaches to the siddhis, and then the root is same. In my views, as I said, when we talk about light within, has very different meaning in tradition. In tradition, in deep meditation, you may see light inside, or that way subtle sound. Not only light, subtle sound, a sort of divine perfume, or taste, or touch, etc. JK has also indirectly talked about siddhis, but these also come under duality, as self experiences the same. So one light is when you go deep, you find that light. This again depends on the individuality. Some individual may find light inside, some individual may find some perfume, or somebody may find this touch, which is subtle touch, and other things, right? These we can say that these are extended senses. So this was telling about the senses. So these are basically extended senses. Beyond this, they call Jivatma, spirit, also has divine light, sound, etc., in which self is just have a presence. This is shown symbolically by Akhand Jyoti, or a constantly lit lamp, like available in lamp. This lamp, you can say that this is unextinguished light or eternal flame. Like this is available in Rajeshwar temple in Maheshwar, known as Ahilyabai Holkar's Akhand Jyoti. So one light they have symbolically said as Atma's light, or the basic consciousness light. So as light is there, there are other perfumes are also there. Sound is also there. It depends. Anahat Nad is also there, but this they call Anahat Nad and all that. So this depends basically on the individual, and that intelligence what shows to him, or intelligence how it comes, and how what shows to him, that depends on that. So it is not basically what we can say. This is not a useless thing to symbolize any other thing. This is in tradition, or we can see ourselves as a fact that the world is totally made up of energy, or basic we can say element. That is for sure. So naiti and iti, both are the two sides of the same coin. So whether you go through this JK's pointers, or you go through the other way, you have to reach to that basic energy level. And thought is not villain in my views. Thought is also a natural thing, which is given to a human being for its survival, or for his security purpose and all that. And these things is present in feelings and emotions. These are present in animal kingdom also. That is also we have seen. So basically, when we say light to oneself is for the persons who are not yet progressed in the sadhana or this thing, and this is a superficial statement. Then there is a light of siddhis, and then there is a light in which you are having yoga with that ultimate. So, Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya, or is again, when we say Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya, is one you have to experience that you have to go from darkness to light. That again is a experiential thing. Means it is a midway sort of thing. It is not ultimate thing. Similarly, Trambakam Yajamahe, Sugandhim. अब यहाँ पे here they are talking of Sugandh, Sugandh to be enhanced. So there they say that Sugandh is to be enhanced. Sugandh is enhanced means again you have to go for the purity of your this thing. Somebody says that Drishti Maduram, Srishti Maduram. This is particular I am talking from Harshad Parekh's point of view. He always talks of songs and all that. So I am also saying with different views on this. Drishti Maduram, Srishti Maduram, Madhuradipate, Akhilam Maduram. So somebody sees it as a very Madhur thing. So it depends on the individual. What is given to him by intelligence. Thank you.
Swamiji. Swamiji, do you want to say something? Swamiji.
I think Swamiji is not there.
Swamiji is there,
my mic was muted, and I have been hearing. Yeah. So my mic was muted, and it took some time to turn it on. Yeah. Very happy to hear the sharing by Pradeep ji and by Dinesh ji also. And before that, I very much liked the idea of dark room and people colliding against each other, representing social disharmony when everybody is operating through conditioned thought, and when and if there is impartial, unprejudiced, unbiased, watching of one's own ways, surely it would lead to more harmonious living together, whether big society or just even a home or even a little institution. And hearing Pradeep ji and Dinesh ji, it occurred to me that one more important dimension of this topic is this negation. Why at all should we negate? Because books say you should negate? Not at all. We see that thought necessarily causes fragmentation. These days, as we know, so many conflicts, even in the political scenarios of our country or other countries, a certain word is very much in use, narratives. This group has its narrative about a certain incident. That group has another narrative. The hero here becomes villain in the other narrative. The hero over there is a villain in these people's narrative. For some people, such and such political leaders are villains. In some other people, they are almost God. So why is all this? That itself shows thought has tremendously fragmented us. It's interesting that sometimes there are communal riots. There also you find not just ordinary so-called armed people, but even very educated, eminent, highly respected members of the society strongly oppose one section, one community maybe, and stand by another community. While actually, for somebody looking at it from a distance, there are unpardonable crimes on both sides. These people have burnt the houses of those people. Those people have burnt the houses of these people. But almost everybody takes a side. And in the narrative of a particular person, what Group A has done is all very understandable. What Group B does is horrible. If the Group B is, let us say, ruling party, they should resign tomorrow morning itself. Whereas if Group B, who is wrong, they are the opposition, You know, in the eyes of this person prejudiced for them, they should be brought to power. So you find what is wrong with humanity. You know, if I do something, it can never be wrong. If somebody else does even 1/10 of it, it is a maha aparad. That is called fragmentation. In our brain, as though there are two sides. One side will sit in judgment if it is the other party who is doing things, and another side will come into the judging process if it is so called my side. So, this my side and their side, etc., is what is called result of fragmentation. Therefore, neti neti is need of the hour. Negation has to be opted for mainly because it's only when we negate this biased narration, biased narrative, that truth may emerge. Then we are friends of all humanity. We are friends of ourselves in the first place. Otherwise, we are letting ourselves down. Therefore, it's of interest to discuss maybe another session. We can take what fragmentation means. There are so many times we come across this word. Anyway, these are my comments, but I also have a question. I also talk about it, but I don't know what it is fully. Uh, is it, is there uh, in this light in oneself, how does this light in oneself understand the gross situations of the world? Is there intelligence beyond thought? Anyone can try to answer it, or you
Yeah,
please
yeah,
share what.
yeah. Can I say something? It is very clear. Even Einstein has also said, who is making the order and disorder at the same time. So there has to be something which is making order as well as disorder, maintaining.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
now it is up to, we are seeing this as a light. It is a different thing. It could be a different thing. It is showing itself as a light or subtle sound or fragrance, fragrance. So it depends. So it is definitely there. And some people who have seen this as a light, they said that it is a light. So even Ved also says that there is a Shruti and this mantra drashta and mantra and Shruti. Two things they talk. One has seen the mantra and another is heard the mantra.
Right.
One thing, Swamiji, I would like to say,
Please.
you mentioned in your talk, light is equal to love. Light means
Ah,
love. Now, about love, nobody has talked about today because it cannot be talked about because love is like that. So it is love is and naturally when love is there of any type, once you start dissecting it, then it becomes all sorts of words will come brought from more to a this and that and conditional and unconditional. But love. Uh, Another mysterious word, love. And JK always ended up most of his talks in love only. So this love is relatively simple to understand with uh, our understanding of love or our feeling of or our sensitivity towards what we consider love is or what we feel the love is. So, so this is relatively, it will be easier. It will take us to less number of words probably than anything else.
Can
And
I say something here?
and love is something which can immediately tell you exactly whether you really love, because everybody can feel that perfume, that whatever you may say. Everybody feels it. Everybody needs it and everybody feels it. Immediately you will know whether you are showing something to get something, or it was pure love, and that will be communicated to even.
Can I say
And
something here?
thank you, thank you.
Can I say something? Basically, as far as tradition is concerned, all excuse me, all this love and all this portion comes under Ananda. Means emotions and feelings come under Ananda, and
Yes.
uh, light and order and disorder and everything, intelligence comes under Chaitanya. So they say that Asti Bhati Priyata. One is existence, another is Bhas. Bhas means to know that existence, that I am there, and third is Priyata, means that is love. So you may say it's Satyam Shivam Sundaram, or you may, and beauty is also considered in that love portion, means Anand portion. So that energy has got this three categories basically, or characteristics rather we can say, as per tradition. And if we see this fragmentation, we can see that in our life, daily life also it is present. Pleasure and all that, it comes in that Anand portion, and the intellect and all that comes under Chaitanya portion. And they call it Div Chetna, not Chaitanya, which is not full Chaitanya. If we go through this Panchadashi of Vedanta, then it is very clear there. They have bifurcated this, and very critically they have, or they have
Bifurcated, yes.
mentioned it very clearly.
Sir,
Yes, sir, Prasad sir.
sir, I have great admiration today, appreciation rather, for Swamiji's talk. For want of time, I don't want to expatiate, but one thing I want to really appreciate, that is, he has made two comments. One is, thought is Maya. I have never heard this statement, that thought is Maya. Krishnaji has said thought is time. That's all right. At least I am familiar with that. But thought is Maya, it kind of brings together our traditional Vedanta and Krishnaji's teaching. Second statement is, we are all familiar with that. That is, this light is love. Yes. So, actually, this is all that I want to say. But now that there seems to be some more time available, I want to express what I understand about this term light. Swamiji has already said this is thought. We are all caught in thought. The entire civilization, human civilization, is caught in thought. We are prisoners of thought. But at the same time, we also know that thought is very useful. Without thought, we cannot function. We cannot survive, we cannot live, and all that. So thought has a place, a very valuable place. Thought is behind all scientific development and all that. When you send a rocket into the space, it is thought. When you do a surgical operation, it is thought. So we know all that. You can't build a dam without the thought. So thought has great place, but at the same time, thought has created so much havoc in society. All these divisions are because of thought. I'm a votary of Muslim thought. You are a votary of Christian thought or something like that. So all these divisions are because of thought. And so we know the limitations of thought, that every one of us is enclosed in his own fence, within his own fence, within his own thought. So it is a thought that basically does a fragmentation, and that the sense of unity you cannot get so long as you are caught in thought only, so long as you do not realize the limitations of thought. So that sense of unity that you won't get. That is all right. Then what is this light? Light, for me, it symbolizes so many things. That entire area, like awareness, intelligence, emptiness, silence and spaciousness, compassion, freedom, that sense of unity, all these things are encompassed by the term light for me. So it is intelligence, light is intelligence, light is also freedom. So I liked the talk of Swamiji for another reason. He has covered with his science background the electromagnetic waves and all that. So he has given us a small lesson on, on physical light. Light in terms of physics. That is not the sense in which it is used in our topic, but that is one aspect. And then he has taken us to Agnavalkya and all that. I can't even pronounce those names, but where they talk of something eternal in you, that spark of eternity. That is where he has also said about Krishnaji's impatience with that type of approach to things. When you talk of the eternal, that, we say that I am that. I am that is something very big. You don't say I am the pig. Why not? You say only I am something great, Brahman. You don't say I am a pig or a dog in your house. That shows our expansion of ourselves. We are all megalomaniacs. You have a big idea about yourself. That megalomaniac, Krishnaji, I think, is totally against it. He tried to demolish it. Because we in tradition, we are lost in such talk, big things. You don't observe your selfishness, your crudeness, your greediness, all these things, your envy, all these things, we are hemmed in by these things. And so Krishnaji is against that, and Swamiji has covered that. So light for me is all these things, the finer things of life. And thought is good and is also damaging. Thank you, sir. Bas.
Harshad sir, last comment. Harshad sir.
Can I say one sentence only in between?
Yes, you can say. Then Harshad sir, I will have to conclude because time
Yeah.
has.
Swamiji, as per my views, Maya is a Sanatan sort of thing. Only its creations are illusions, not Maya. Maya is Sanatan. Maya is permanent, eternal. But its creations are time bound. What do you have to say?
Yes, I would only say Maya is used in so many ways. Therefore, what you say is one angle of view. Some other times, Maya is just getting deluded, it's Maya. So this thought is a form of delusion. When thought, hijacks us, we are in a fancy world. In that sense, in Viveka Chudamani, it is said there is no avidya other than Maya, there other than mind. Yeah, other than. Swami Chinmayananda's famous statement, mind alone is Maya at play. So those things. So Maya is used, Maya means beauty also. So parents name a girl child Maya. Maya is in there. Mean Maya doesn't mean delusion there. Nobody would marry her if that means delusion. Maya means beauty. If you have a girl by name Maya, that means she's beautiful. Yeah, so multiple
Krishnamurti is
meanings.
master of Maya. Krishnamurti is master of Maya. Number of
Mayapati.
persons say like
He is
this
Mayapati. Huh?
because he used Prakriti to get God. Otherwise, Prakriti is Maya. But he used Maya to get God. He is
Right.
the only one who is master of Maya. I feel like this. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well said. We'll request Harshad ji to make some concluding comments. Harshad ji.
Yes. Are you able to hear? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, light, I think Pradeep ji said light is energy. And what it seems to me that we do have a lot of energy, but this energy is wasted because there is no clarity. There are lots of conflicts within oneself and with people. So when that energy which is there is not wasted in unnecessary problems, then that energy goes to the brain and it gives a different quality to the brain. And that probably is the light which within the brain. But the uh, Upanishad says the self is, that means true self, is pure awareness that shines as light within the heart. That means it says something about love, which we are talking about. That light is also love. So we can expand different meanings, but why problems exist in society within oneself is because that awareness, seeing, as Pradeep is saying, seeing things, thoughts as they are. As long as we are not able to see clearly our own mind clearly, our own thoughts, then the problems will remain. So there is a possibility for individual human beings to be free, to come out from all these self-created problems. But humanity, I think it is waste trying to change humanity because Gandhiji and many people, Christ and Buddha and many people tried to change society, but society doesn't change. It is like a dog's tail. You straighten it and leave it, it gets curled up. So I think in this field, what we are talking is for an individual person to come out and then maybe can help some few people here and there, and that possibility exists. So Okay, I think I don't have much to say now. Thank you.
Time has come, so we will have to end this meeting. Thanks everybody for
Sir, I would request Sushilji to show his face again and again. It gives us energy, basically.
definitely.
Right.
Ah.
And Sushilji, take care of yourself.